Hello. We were just kind of
Hi,
talking
guys.
about what we're going to talk about today. It's just the three of us, the three Stooges. And welcome everybody who was watching and listening to Father Roderick on his fine podcast, The Break. Glad to have you over here. I'm assuming that some of you are here. Let me go open up the Catholic Weekend.
You know what happens when you assume.
Bingo.
When you assume.
Yeah,
Hey,
you make a.
look what I have in my hands. Did I show this to you?
Oh,
yes.
Oh, that's the. What do they call
The
that?
book? A galley?
Galley.
A galley.
Why do they call it a galley? A galley is like a kitchen.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, it's a very nice looking galley you have there, young lady.
It's a nice looking gal on the cover. Is what it is. All right, I'm just cleaning stuff up here.
That's not a picture of you?
That's not a picture of me.
Oh.
Have you seen this collection of Pez that my son has? Oh wait, is Father Roderick still hanging around? Can you see?
Oh, nice.
I hate confrontation.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, well.
And then for good measure, my favorite, Einstein.
Jeff, don't make the same mistake as Father Roderick. Press record. Oh, really? Did he forget to record?
Is that what happened? Oh, gosh.
Good thing he's doing it on the Hangout at least.
Yeah, it's not quite as good audio, but it's something that he can.
Yeah, it's recoverable at least.
Yeah, the problem with the Hangout is that the music, when I'm playing music clips and stuff like that, Google really doesn't know what to do, how to blend that all together.
Yeah, it distorts your voice just a little bit.
Yeah, and the music kind of fades out. Almost sometimes you can't even hear it. But it's workable. But that's why I use a audio recorder to record the audio at the same time.
Yep. Take it right from the source.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. When I'm talking, I'm hearing a little bit of air. How does that sound? Hello.
Sounds fine to me.
But... Okay, so I'm hearing.
I don't hear anything weird.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it's just me. Let me turn this off.
Is it me? Is it the AC that's on too loud? 2 feet from
Yes,
me?
I was thinking here too.
I don't know. No, it's weird because it's only when I'm talking and then I stop talking and then it kind of just tails off. I don't know. Whatever. It's no big deal. No big deal. Okay, you guys ready? Let me check this.
Let's roll. Make it happen, Captain.
This is SQPN.
Okay, that sounds good. And this. What is she saying again, right there?
De mi tierra bella, my beautiful land, my beautiful, my beautiful country.
Cool. Okay, and got that. It's episode 282 on the 25th of 25th of July already.
I know.
Man.
How did that happen? I have a deadline for August 1st on a project I haven't even started.
So, professors delay or procrastinate too, like the students?
Oh, listen, you don't even know. You don't even know. I have known since March. Since March.
Yeah. Well, I'm up there in the Hall of Famers for procrastination.
Oh, I hear you.
And my son, he is a chip off the old block. I think he even cuts it closer than I ever did.
Oh, hey, I've done the weekend homily where I'm walking up to the ambo, kind of finalizing in my mind exactly what I'm going to say.
Shh. Don't confess that one.
Oh, every priest has done that.
And
at
it
least once.
shows too. Oh, I know. I have had to do. I do that in classes all the time. No, I've had this thing. I've had to build a curriculum for 4 courses, and I only have 1/3 of a course done.
Hmm.
See, that's the kind of stuff that would probably give me cancer, and I probably wouldn't be here. Seriously. See, I can handle
What?
my job. Sometimes we have really, really high stress episodes. Luckily, they only last for a very short period of time. And I can handle that. It's just
They either have a good ending or an ending that it doesn't matter anymore anyway.
Right. Yeah. Either way, as long as you're good to go, you're good to go. You know. Kind of going back to reconciliation. By the way, I meant to, after talking about reconciliation last week, I headed over to my parish to partake. Well, they didn't have it that day.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the afternoon one. I don't know. There must have been something going on. I don't know. But anyway, I'll try it again this Saturday. Today.
That sounds good.
All right. You guys ready?
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah, I hear that.
Hello. Hola.
It's only after I start talking. That's weird. Maybe it's just coming in mine.
Every once in a while I hear a little bit of a hiss when there's quiet. I don't know.
Yeah, it must be just be the Skype thing. All right, I'm gonna mute you guys and hopefully I remember to turn you back on. Okay, here we go.
This is SQPN, the StarQuest Production Network, leading the way.
You're listening to Catholic Weekend, episode number 282 for the week ending Saturday, July 25th, 2015. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all that stuff. I'm Captain Jeff, also known... No, I'm Jeff Nielsen, also known as Captain Jeff. I'm your captain. And joining me today from Conyers, Georgia, Maria Johnson.
Hello. Hello. I'm on. Did you unmute me?
I did.
This is a banner day.
Yeah.
Banner day.
Banner Day.
Hey.
And from Montana, Malta, Montana, Father Corey.
Howdy, y'all. How's it going?
Where they come
I was turning down the wrong knob here. All right, here we go. Ah. Out of all the hand.
Great minds think alike.
And something
First
about going to hula hands or something. I don't know. What's that
Hula
mean?
hands.
No,
Is that
it's-
still around?
Yeah, hula hands is still around.
Really?
Isn't it?
Gosh, that just reminds me so
Do
much
a
of the
quick
disco
search.
era.
Yeah, that was like the first place that I remember that had all the stuff hanging, all the eclectic pieces of memorabilia hanging up on the walls. A lot of great ambiance. Now every place you go, it's like that.
Yeah, pretty
Hula
much.
hands. Hula hands.
I gotta look it up.
Are you looking at
And the restaurant and bar, yeah, they're still out
There
there.
used to be one in the St. Louis area when I lived there, but like I said, I don't know if that still exists or not.
Oh man, I just drove by the skis one that's in Miami in a terrible area.
Mm.
And looked at it and I thought, is this place still open?
Oh, jeez.
It is.
Oh,
Hey, you know what? Speaking of
Yes.
restaurants and food and fast food, what I had for the very first time on this trip, because my co-pilot had a coupon for getting one for free if he ordered something. A McGriddle.
Oh, really? You've never had one before?
No, I've never had one, and he gave it to me. He
McGriddle?
goes, "A McGriddle, yeah, it's like a sausage patty and like pancakes that it's sandwiched between." And I thought, This is probably not going to be very good, but I'll eat it. It's free. And every single bite I took, I was like, wow, this is really, really good.
It's actually, I mean, it's completely not healthy for you, but it's
Oh, no.
tasty.
No, it's awful for you, I think. So,
Plastic food, right?
yeah.
Oh my.
So, yeah, that hiss going on in the background just driving me nuts. I don't know. Sorry, everybody listening to the audio podcast.
It's the NSA listening in. You know, they just can't
That's
quite
what it
mask
is.
the background noise.
What I do realize now that I'm looking, normally I have a dedicated, hard connection via Ethernet into my MacBook, and this morning I forgot to do that, so I'm just doing the Wi-Fi. So maybe that has something to do with it.
Oh.
Could be.
I don't
I
know.
don't hear anything. I have such a bad case of tinnitus that.
Really?
Every once in a while, I do kind of hear it. It just kind of comes and goes, but.
Well, you guys
We'll
tell everybody about what you've been doing this week and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just going to go around the back here and reconnect the. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. You know what's going to happen
He's
if I do
flying.
that?
You'll blip off.
Whatever.
Yeah, it'll disconnect. My
disconnect.
computer will get confused.
We'll live.
Yeah.
You know, for those listening to the recording later, you probably don't hear any of it, but that's all right.
Probably not. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I talk about stuff that I'm hearing, and people go, "I don't know what you're talking about." I don't hear
That's
that.
Always hearing voices in your head.
Well, that's where I get a kick out of you and your bird. It's like I haven't heard your bird once, whether on
Or the-
EPG or
Or
here.
the toilet flush, right?
Or the toilet
flush.
Yeah. Oh well. I'll just keep my mouth
You know,
shut.
Do you remember that? I think it was on the All in the Family, where the first time on TV somebody flushed a toilet, and
Really?
yeah, I think it was on All in the Family.
That's funny.
Huh.
Well, don't you remember that, like on the Brady Bunch? I think the Brady Bunch was the first show to show a married couple sharing one bed.
That could
Wow.
be. I know. I Love Lucy. They had separate beds.
Mhm.
They had separate beds.
Flintstones.
Did the Flintstones have separate beds?
Yeah, they did.
Oh my goodness.
Of course, that was about that.
Anyway,
same
I think that
time,
the
though.
toilet flushing on All in the Family was an interesting thing.
Yeah. Now that's probably the mildest thing you see on TV.
Nobody goes to the bathroom, right? Mm.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
In space or on any long trip anywhere, nobody ever goes to the bathroom.
Apparently not.
Very constipated. You know what? I'm looking at all the Houlihan's locations. There are several of them, but in Atlanta there are no longer any. The closest one to us is Columbus, Georgia.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm pretty sure there's one in Miami, isn't there?
Let me look. No, there's only one in Florida. It's in Orlando. On Colonial
In
Drive.
Orlando. Oh, so I wonder what Houlihan's is in Miami, or maybe it's just closed. And
Yeah.
It's abandoned.
Because the one that was closest to
I
me
told
on
you it
Johnson
looked
Ferry
closed.
Road, it says it's permanently closed. Oh, the era of Houlihan's is over, apparently.
Oh well, I wish I could have saved one of the disco balls from the one in South Florida.
Might still be there if you go into the building. Who knows?
Things I don't want to brave.
Yeah, exactly.
Breaking into a Houlihan's. Can you imagine what that would look like?
So if you're
My mugshot would be delightful. Oops.
if you're listening to this, of course you're listening to this, you'll note that it's just the three of us today. Steve is really busy. If you've listened to the previous episodes, you know that this the big shindig is, I guess, started yesterday or today, something like that, in Lexington, Kentucky, and was looking at his Facebook page, and it looks like he made it to Lexington. So let's all keep him in our prayers, and hopefully everything goes really, really smoothly for, 2 weeks, I guess he's going to be there?
Something like that.
He said it's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't say I think he said it was like 13 or 14 days total for the conferences.
That's crazy.
800, something like 800 different events going on or something like that.
And then, of course, Sarah Vabulous is
It
taking...
sounds more like a music festival.
Well, we got a lot of lag, too. A lot of lag. Oh, well, sorry. I don't mean to be talking over everybody there.
That's all right.
Sarah Vabulous said that she was going to take a weekend off of social media. Is she abiding by that?
She
Do we know?
posted stuff earlier today, I know, but she could have, if she uses something like, is it Hootsuite or something like that, where you can schedule stuff too. So
yeah, 2 hours
knows?
ago I see something.
She might have. Well, she retweeted something I did. So
Fall style beers are starting to roll out. Speaking of Sarah Vabulous, just finished listening to her second episode of the Catholic
very
Drinking
good.
Show, and something about there's beer all over my Bible. I spilled beer all over my Bible. What was the? Is that right?
I haven't listened to it yet. I'll have to check it out.
Let me look here. It says, "Where is beer in the Bible?"
Where is beer in the Bible?
Something like that.
She
And,
talks
It's
a
so
lot about that
silly.
in her book. It's pretty interesting, actually. Of course,
Yeah, I was just at a. Go ahead, Father.
I was gonna say I was been reading her book at Adoration. Well, I've gotten past the spiritual part of the book, and now I'm into the making beer part of the book. And I'm sitting there in front of Blessed Sacrament, thirsty for beer because of her different recipes.
Well, I can't wait to hear what Sarah has to say about your choice for adoration. That's a fantastic thing.
Hey, the first part is very spiritual. It really is a wonderful reflection on evangelization.
Oh my! It
What-
is.
what-
I I can't even begin to think about how to make a beer. But it was so funny. The blueberry Hefeweizens that she made for me. I had one left, and my son came home for the weekend, and so he had it last night, and he was so precious. He's popping the cap on it, and he goes, "She has her own precious bottle cap." And I said, "Did you really just say precious?"
It's precious. Well, I was going to say, Jan in the chat room says that there's a great article on Catholic drinking in this week's Georgia Bulletin.
Oh,
I've
excellent.
not looked at my
Woohoo!
Georgia
I haven't
Bulletin,
seen it yet.
weekly newspaper from our archdiocese here. So I'll have to check it out.
I wonder if she knows that it came out. I'll have to.
I'm
to
sure
text her
she
later.
is.
She sent me a behind the scenes picture of the photographer setting up the shot for one of the pictures. So I hope it's the same picture that I saw the setup for, because that would be cool.
I'm still waiting for the photographer to come over here and take a picture of Catholic Weekend. We've only been doing it for 5.5 years.
Well, that's all.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry. A little bit of frustration there is eking out.
A little bit of
I don't
envy. No.
I don't care. Whatever.
You know
So-
what? We'll have to write our own article. Come on, are you kidding me? They don't even know we exist here.
I know. And you know
Actually,
what?
we should give a shout out. We should give a shout out to our diocese who finally did hear who we are. That's
Yeah,
good.
they finally acknowledged us, and they actually had a little article in the bulletin about the little shindig we had down at the
CNMC?
the CNMC.
Very good.
So, and it was mostly about Greg Willits, which is it's good because he was our keynote speaker, and it was great. It was really good.
You did a great presentation. It was worth
He did.
highlighting.
Absolutely.
Worth highlighting. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Guess who has two thumbs and is still blocked by the Archdiocesan Twitter account?
Well, are you still using Bago as your Twitter ID?
I am.
I still think it has something to do with the fact that somebody has decided that some kind of a what?
Terribleness.
It's a
Like a
slang.
Politically incorrect slang for something. Maybe they're confusing
What
it with DEGO. I don't know.
I
Is it
have
how you
no
spell
idea.
that?
No,
Slang
it's
for
not.
Italian? I don't know.
You-
No,
well, you
it's
didn't know,
not. But
begonias are terrible flowers. And, it must be short for that.
Well, it is short for that. And so somebody obviously doesn't like those kind of flowers.
have you been listening to the Catholic Hipster that
Mhm.
Sarah's doing with Tommy Ty?
Mhm.
H is silent. Tommy posted something, and I said, "Well, I'm still blocked by the archdiocese," And he started to tweet with the hashtag Free Maria.
Well, you know, there's a way around that, Maria. You just come up with another Twitter ID and then go to town.
I could. I very well could.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in it. It's a lot more fun to be banned
Complain
by
about
the
it.
archdiocese,
So, how's everything going with you, young lady?
It's going well. I was just telling Father earlier that I have this looming deadline that I'm never going to get around to doing. So I guess I'll just be in trouble at work next week. But whatever. I'm having a
Okay.
good time. I'm enjoying myself. Actually, I had an interesting turnaround this week with a request that Elizabeth Scalia, who's the anchoress at Pathos, asked me to just respond to the embassy's opening, the U.S. Embassy and the Cuban Embassy. So I sent off a rant to her, and she ended up publishing it at Pathos. So generous.
It was an excellent article. It really
Yeah, it
was.
was. I read it too.
Well,
It was good.
Well, I've been getting hate mail, so that's always fun.
So, who are you getting hate mail
That
from?
means it's people are very. It's a very volatile subject.
Mhm.
People have very strong opinions on both sides of it, and I guess I ultimately did express an opinion. Although I don't know, if you ask me tomorrow, I might have a different opinion. But essentially, I think I just don't trust anybody. I don't trust either our administration or the commies, those commie pinkos. So literally.
Well, saved by the music. You hear that coming up in the background? Yes, that means it's time for our first break. That is, of course, Alan Marchand and his band playing Puxatawny Phil. And you can find that on Magnatune and Apple's iTunes Store and many, many other places out there. In fact, you could probably go to alanmarchand.com. I don't know if that's right or not, but do a Google search. You'll find it. A Bing search. Anyway, so this is where we thank, as we always do every week, our supporters, financial supporters to the StarQuest Production Network. You can become a friend of SQPN if you'd like by heading over to sqpn.com/donate, and there you'll find many convenient ways to sign up for a monthly amount if you'd like to support our efforts in the new evangelization, or a one-time donation would be just fine as well. We are a 501c3 corporation, which means that in most cases your contributions, your donations are tax deductible. And if you'd like to also help support us by doing some shopping so you get some good, Amazon.com, a great place to do that online digital shopping. And if you do a lot of that, please remember to go over to the StarQuest Production Network website, click on the Amazon.com banner, and then a portion of your purchase will be sent to SQPN. Our network really benefits from that relationship that we have, that partnership with Amazon.com. So again, look for your country's link, click on that, and then you do your shopping on Amazon. Nothing changes. Everything is as it normally is when you're doing your shopping, but just a little bit of that purchase will go to us. Not the purchase, but the money that you're spending on it. And finally, if you're interested in starting a blog or a podcast or both, or you want to sell something, or whatever, you want to have a website and you want to do a self-hosted WordPress website, for instance, Bluehost.com is a great place to go for that. And we have many of our participants and podcasters at the StarQuest Production Network use Bluehost to host their personal blogs. Maria, Sarah, Steve, Father Roderick, etc. And they're all very, very happy with the services that they're receiving from Bluehost. So if you're interested in doing that, head over to sqpn.com/Bluehost, or you can find the banner on our website. And by clicking through and signing up, again, we'll get a nice little bit of revenue share from them. So thank you again for all of you and all your thoughts, prayers, and your financial support. We do really appreciate it. All right.
Ooh, I
The-
love that ending.
Yeah, me too.
Nice
In
riff.
another lifetime, I wish I could play the drums.
Well, you already play the saxophone, so, you know, I guess you could
do
add.
magnificently.
Yes, you do. If you ever see Maria, like you at a conference or whatever, ask her if she brought her saxophone with her, and if so, she'll serenade you to something jazzy.
Nice.
Jazzy.
Have you
Jazzy.
recording the intermediate music.
Let's see.
You know he's kidding, right, Father
Yeah,
Corey?
Oh yes. I figured.
What, me? Kidding? Are you kidding? Am I kidding?
Actually, didn't I play one of those little plastic ones that's about this big
Mhm.
that I got at the
Oh,
store one time a long time ago.
Yeah. That wasn't very good either.
No.
And the
Whatever.
real one would be even worse. Worse of a train wreck.
Oh my
Well,
God.
Tell you what, you
Did
could
I
you could
tell
play
you?
the saxophone. I could play the drums, and we could have dogs howling all across the country.
You know that Steve is at that conference for KKSI, which is the National Honor Society for college musicians or something like that.
Mhm.
Anyway, my oldest daughter, who played the flute and the piccolo and the marimba in high school, went on to become a member of the organization when she was a drum major at Georgia Tech. So, hey, plug for Vic. Anyway, when she was in middle school learning to play this instrument, something happened, and she decided that the flute was not cool enough and came home, I think, with a clarinet, some reed instrument. Let's say it's a clarinet. She didn't say anything that she was switching instruments. She just decided she was going to pick it up and see if she liked it. And I was teaching an evening class, and I was coming home at about 8:30 at night. It was just starting to get dark, and I'm at the bottom of the hill in my neighborhood, and I hear what sounds to me like some cat moaning to death.
Quick, call animal control. Get this thing out of its misery.
Serious. And I'm driving up the hill, and it just sounds so mournful and awful. And I get to the house, and I come inside, and I just still hear the sound far off. And I said, "What is going on?" And my husband says, "I have exiled the child to the back porch because she was doing that inside the house."
And that's scarred her for life, I think.
So, well, our neighbors obviously hated us for years after that.
That's sad. That's sad.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
did you guys hear about the? It's kind of up in your neck of the woods, actually, very close to your neck of the woods, Father. The something about a Jesus statue on top of a big mountain or something.
Yes, let's see, right? It's a statue that was put up as a memorial for World War II, and it's actually on top of Big Mountain. That's actually the name of the mountain.
Oh, it's not only a big mountain, but it's also called Big Mountain.
Big mountain.
Yes, it's actually
a little rolling hill, right?
Yeah, it's only 6,800 feet. I mean, it's no big deal. It's actually at the top of a ski resort. However, the land that it is on is not owned by the ski resort. It's owned by the Forest Service. It's federal land. And first of all, once the federal government gets hold of land, almost literally takes an act of Congress to sell. So this was put on this federal land, and it's been leased by a private organization. They leased the land for, it's 10-year leases. They pay the lease and everything. Well, atheists are suing because it is on federal land, even though it's being leased to a private organization, because it's, of course, separation of church and state violation, as they understand it. Basically, their idea of church and state is the state can tell the church whatever it wants, but the church can't have anything to do with the state. My opinion, sorry.
Yeah, what don't you understand about that?
Yeah, exactly. The separation works one way. Otherwise, we wouldn't be paying like property tax, for example. Anyways, sorry, again, my rant. So anyways, there's been a fight for quite a few years to deal with this statue. And of course, the atheist result is they want it gone. They want it removed. They want it bulldozed. They want it jackhammered. They want no sign the statue ever existed.
Wow.
But there's another group that wants to, first of all, keep it because it's like the local Knights of Columbus in Kalispell, I believe it is, Whitefish, Montana, excuse me. They're keeping it up. They keep the statue up. They paint it every couple of years and stuff like that. They will actually want to buy the land that it's on and trade the Forest Service for other land or do something like that, so that the land ends up being on private property again. And so there's huge fight over all this. This statue. It's a 25 by 25 foot piece of land that it's on, and it's a huge fight.
And how many years has that been there?
60 years.
Wow.
For over 60 years. It was put up right after World War II.
Yeah, it's an interesting article. We'll include that in the show notes. It talks about the fact that many of the people that served in World War II were serving in Europe, in Italy, and many of the mountains that they were, traveling around had these statues as a very common thing, and they thought that would be kind of a fitting memorial for the World War II soldiers that lost their lives.
Yeah, and it also sounds like a lot of many of the people who were in this 10th Mountain Division that the statue is dedicated towards, had skied on Big Mountain. They had skied at that ski resort, so it was something that was very familiar to them. That spot.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a quote here from Ed Schneck. He came back and on Big Mountain founded one of the country's earliest ski resorts. He never forgot about his fallen comrades, and he said he was an avid skier, skied on many of the slopes in Italy. He remembered that almost all of the slopes in Italy had statues of Christ on the slopes, more than one of several slopes, and also other statues and crosses. So when he returned to Whitefish after the war, he had such an admiration of the Christ statues that he had observed on the slopes of Italy during the war that he wanted to install one on Big Mountain in memory of the men who had lost their lives in World War II. But the other kind of ironic thing about this is that they say that the statue on Big Mountain is really very, very difficult to see. You have to be like right in the right place, and there's no trail that leads to it, and it's basically surrounded by trees, and you have to kind of know where to look to see it. So
exactly, and it's not right there. You have to go out your way to get there. It's not like it's you can see it. If you're familiar with another statue, Our Lady of the Rockies, which you can see from all over Butte, Montana, it's not like that at all. It's pretty discreet.
How's that one?
Well, it's obviously just a targeted complaint.
Yeah.
With
I think there was
agenda,
one of the atheists said that he can't ski on that mountain, and because he knows that Christ statue is there.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh, that's
his
tragic.
conscience is being pricked by our Lord. Terrible.
Yes, I know.
There are so many. That's a great way to observe that that commentary too.
All I can say is he must be pretty thin-skinned, because I can go past atheist signs and stuff, and I might get irritated, but
shake your head a little bit or whatever, but let's not let us bring a lawsuit against it to get rid of it.
And by the way,
we've lost the ability to dialogue in these times. We can't even agree to disagree without taking it personally. I can not like what you like and still like you.
Yeah.
And Lynn Francisco also points out there's the Mount Soledad cross in San Diego, which is also under the same situation. Although I just saw this week that they've sold that land. The federal government did get permission from Congress, literally an act of Congress, to sell that land for the value of the land. It was like $1.4 million or something like that for a half acre of land.
Well, these folks don't need to use any money at all, because it's got "In God We Trust" printed on it. So
there you go.
Well, they're going to try to
working
change
on
that
too.
Yeah, I know.
Oh boy. Well, hey, how about some good news? And regarding before we end that, kind of tie that one up, it's still in, I guess, litigation, right? They haven't really
yes, it is.
come to a ruling on that yet. All right.
Yes. Yeah, it's in lawsuit and countersuit, and appeal and you name it.
Blah, 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 blah. What's going to happen when that pendulum starts to swing in the other direction? And I think we're seeing glimpses of that.
I don't know. Hope it doesn't get as bad.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Well, speaking of good, that guy that did that series, the award-winning series Catholicism, and that we've seen so many different places in our local parishes and also on public television.
That guy?
That guy.
Who is that guy?
Well, that guy is Father Robert Barron, but now we can call him Bishop Barron.
Bishop-elect.
Ooh.
He's
Bishop-elect, okay.
Bishop-elect.
Oops.
He's not ordained to the bishopric yet.
Bishopric?
I don't know if that's the title.
Let's just move
it's
on.
priesthood and bishopric, I guess.
Bishop your conscience?
Yeah.
There's your title.
Yeah.
And two other guys.
And two other guys, yeah, that are both great guys as well. And let's see, who are the other two? I don't have the list in front of me now. Darn it. One of them is Simca Fisher's uncle.
Yes.
Brennan, I think, is his name, and I have no idea on the third one. But there are three.
And that's pretty much been the week, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure that I can find it somewhere, but I'm sure that one of my co-hosts will help me and find that and do some research while I'm just flailing out here by myself.
That's what I'm trying to find.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'll go look.
Father Robert Barron, in this, he's been, very big in the new media, and recently, within the last couple of years, I think he was advanced or promoted to the rector at the one of the prominent seminaries in our country, Mundelein. Is that the way you pronounce it?
Mundelein.
Yeah,
Mundelein.
University of St. Mary of the Lake Mundelein Seminary. It's the major seminary for the Archdiocese of Chicago, and it's also my my theology studies. That's where I did my theology studies, was at Mundelein.
Excellent.
And Father Barron I did have him as a professor for one class, Doctrine of God. In that class he would go, so doctors of the soul doctors, what do you think? He always calls priests soul doctors. It's kind of fun to the way he teaches, but it's a wonderful thing. It's not a total surprise, to be honest with you. It's I expected it eventually. I didn't expect it quite so quickly, but you never know. Sometimes you never know when it's going to happen. Sorry.
I thought, wow, he's the two other bishop-elects, the three auxiliary bishops named recently in L.A. I don't even know if I mentioned it was Los Angeles, the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. He's going to be one of the auxiliary bishops. That I thought, he's so young.
Yeah,
because he looks young to me, but he's 55. He's like a year younger than I am. So he's, I guess that's still kind of young for bishop. The other two are 61.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's average.
Did you finally get their names?
No, did you?
I got trapped in a freeze here, but
okay, you're all
yeah. The thing that what I'm referring to is how funny that they announced the three new auxiliary bishops, and the only one that was getting any attention was really Father Barron. But this is actually an amazing move, and I can't remember their names, but I think one of them is bilingual. Some of the questions were, well, there were no Hispanics assigned, but they've got an amazing. It's frozen.
Okay, here we go. I finally found it. We're all Googling here. Bishop Joseph or Monsignor Joseph Brennan, Monsignor David O'Connell, and Father Barron are the three that were picked for that. Bishop O'Connell was actually born in Cork, Ireland.
Oh, I think he's the one that's bilingual.
Irish and English? No, I'm kidding.
Well, Simca Fisher, she has a column in the National Catholic Register, and she has an article there about the great news for Los Angeles and prayers for Uncle Joe. That's Joe Brennan. And by the way, she said that part of being part of the Brennan family also means that you would like to sing. And let's see if I can bring up some of this YouTube video here and hear the new bishop-elect singing. That's not him.
Hope not. That sounds a little high.
Trying to find where he comes in. There he is.
Let this be your prayer when shadows fill our day. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace.
Pretty nice, huh?
Yeah.
All right, you were able to hear that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, so it was three great men, talented men. Looks like good things happening out there in Los Angeles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how much Father Barron can continue to do with his Word on Fire ministry, because I know that he was given that role by Cardinal George about 10 or so years ago. And he's put a lot of time and effort into that, and it's going to be interesting to see what he can continue to do. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing what's going to happen for the future for that.
Yeah, and John, hello John, in the chat room reminds us that many have said that that the Father Barron or Bishop-elect Barron has been called the Fulton Sheen of our time.
That's a good analogy. That really is.
Yeah.
And you know what better
he's
place
really
to be?
on it. What's that?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I said, what better place to be, but in Los Angeles with all that, that production out there of media.
Yep, exactly. So,
I'm sorry, Maria. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that he really has the pulse of the times in which we live, and has a great gift to bridge the tradition and the 2,000-year plus history of the church. He's an interesting guy. Did you see him when he was here in Atlanta a couple of years ago?
No.
Jeff? I went and heard him speak, and really just enthralling to listen to him.
Well, he's an excellent speaker, and very dynamic, very interesting. I think he's gonna be a good one for that role as auxiliary bishop, and who knows, maybe bishop on his own, own diocese at some point.
Well, in another article, I'm wondering, I'm thinking about Father Barron and his Word on Fire ministries and his presence in new media, and I'm wondering if, what do we need to do to reach the missing millennials? What must we do to reach this generation? And this is, again, another article from the National Catholic Register. They're talking about a recent Pew Research Center report released in May found that just 16% of millennials identified as Catholic, while 20 to 23% of their counterparts in 3 previous generations claimed that religious affiliation. So dropping from about 20 to 23 to 16%. And for the first time, the portion of religiously unaffiliated Americans surpassed the number of Catholics. And so they're talking about in this article how they're kind of really their morals and their everything that they think about is more aligning with our what's the word now? I can't think of the world, the secular
culture,
world.
The relativistic society in which we are.
Right, like same-sex marriage. It's okay. All the other things going on in our world, they're kind of siding more with the secular world, the non-faith world, than their own faith. And what's happening here, and what can we do to kind of fix this?
So do they offer any
I didn't read the entire article, so I don't know what the writer finally kind of put out there for
the conclusion.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that Sarah's not here, or that we couldn't get Patrick Padley on to talk about this subject. But you know what I'm finding as I engage with younger folks, is that those who are remaining in the church and those who are embracing the church are embracing it authentically.
Well,
And
that's one of the
it's
points
such
in
a
the article.
beautiful thing to see.
That's one of the points in the article is we need to be authentic in our faith. We need to be living our faith, and we need to be living it boldly. You know, that's because they see the culture that we have a culture that it's unafraid of promoting what it thinks is right. You know, we see Hollywood is out there, frankly, brazenly putting out there, evangelizing, if you will, on things like gay marriage and stuff like that. They have no problem doing that, and we're kind of sitting there in the background. I don't want to offend anyone. I don't, you know, when we're doing this kind of this weak need, I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to make anybody upset by talking about my faith. That's why they're going away. They're not seeing us being authentic. They're not seeing us living our faith. They're not seeing us being proud of our faith. That our faith is something life-giving and good. And
But I think that we're seeing, but the ones who are doing it pretty boldly. I don't know. Have you been following? This past week has been the NFP Awareness Week. Have you
I
been
haven't
following some
personally,
of
no.
those are some courageous posts that I've been seeing.
Sure.
By a lot of people who are talking about that subject. You know, when you have a society that is interested in organic vegetables and you know, meat products that are coming from animals that don't have, you know, antibiotics and growth hormones and things like that, and yet have no issue at all popping a pill, you know, to control fertility. And
Exactly.
it's been a great week of some really good articles obviously by young people. You know, it's kind of out of my arena right now, but TMI, sorry, but it's, you know, it's but it's a great topic to speak about boldly because and courageously because it is about living the faith authentically. And
but I think the problem is, and I think the article kind of points it out, that it's not so much you'll see it on the internet, because you will see, if you go looking for it, you know, you'll see people like Simca Fisher and others, Matthew Kelly and people like that who, yeah, they're out there and they're living the faith boldly and they're unapologetic for being Catholic. They're you know, they love being Catholic. They think everyone needs to be Catholic, which we do. I think the problem is when we come to our parishes, the vast majority of parishes, you don't see that. You know, I see that in the parishes I deal with, parishes I've been at before I entered the seminary. You know, even, you know, as a seminarian. You just don't see that boldness of, we're Catholic, we love being Catholic, and we want you to be Catholic because it's the right thing. It's what's best for us. You just don't see that excitement, that energy. It's just like, well, we're here because it's Sunday and you come to Mass.
Well, isn't that the assumption that if they're there at Mass that they are Catholic, and then we don't need to be boldly asserting ourselves amongst our group?
Absolutely. You know, that's why I love so much the Forming Intentional Disciples program book by Sherry Waddell, because that's her first point. Her first point is they may be there, they may be baptized, they may be or catechized, they're not evangelized, and they're not disciples. They're not living their faith intentionally. You know, and I see that so much in parishes, and I think that's the first challenge. If we're going to get millennials, we first and foremost need to wake up parishes. You know, we need to wake up the parishioners in the pews, that they can then bring, you know, reach out to the millennials and say, come with us, you know, join us. This is good. You know, this is good for you. This is something you will get more life out of than you can ever imagine, because we don't live that.
I guess one of the brighter things about this research poll was that the religious indifference of many cradle Catholics is matched by the enthusiasm of a small but vibrant group of new arrivals, in other words, converts to Catholicism. Their striking commitment reveals the enduring appeal of Catholic faith and community in an era shaped by powerful secular forces. So I guess it's not all bad news, but still, it's mostly discouraging. I think. And then, you know, I'm certainly far removed at my age from the millennials, and I think that you know, I'm out here trying to do as much as I can, being an old codger, in my silver years, at 56 years old. But I'm not the person out there to do something about this. It's the young people that need to do it.
Yes, you are, because you are the example to them and me.
No, I agree. I think we all need to.
We all
can't
have a
just say
responsibility in
other
that.
people to do it. Because
Yeah.
to be honest, I think it doesn't matter about age so much. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, it's easy for someone who's a millennial to kind of look at you and say, "Oh, you're my parents' age," or I hate to say it, grandparents' age. Why do I have to listen to you? But if they see your example of life, they might say, "You've got something I want to listen to." I guess my kind of an analogy for that would be, if a millennial wants to learn how to be a pilot, do you think he's going to come to you and say, "You know what? You don't have anything to teach me about being a pilot"?
True.
If a millennial's smart,
No, but he's watching or she's watching you fly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And watching your demeanor when you're setting up and when you're under duress. Those are
Yeah.
things that are.
Because you probably have co-pilots that are getting about that age, don't you?
Getting about what age?
About millennials.
Yeah,
who-
actually, I was just thinking about the fact that more and more of the time now, especially in the airplane that I fly, because I've not sacrificed my seniority to fly the airplanes where there are more people like me,
Mhm.
my age. So I'm kind of one of the older ones flying the Mad Dog, the MD-88 and MD-90, and so I'm getting a lot. And so this airplane happens to be one of those where we get the new hires coming in,
Sure.
and this is the airplane that most of them are flying when they start out. And what's funny about it is I see myself in them when I was first hired, when I was in my
Mhm.
late 20s and 30, early 30s, and I remember flying with these guys that have been with the company for 20, 25 years, and they are old enough to be my dad, and that's what's happening now. And now I'm that guy, that old guy.
Your
with the gray
dad.
hair. No, really, I am serious. There are guys that I'm flying with that they're like 30 years old.
Yeah.
Definitely. My oldest daughter is 28, and if we had started having children earlier in our marriage, they would be in their early 30s.
Yeah. And
So-
just, kind of the same analogy applies with our faith. They might not be looking at you and say you're out of touch with the culture, which, frankly, I feel like I am, even though I'm not even 40 yet. But if they see in you something that is attractive, if they see in you living your faith and they can see how it brings joy to your life, they'll notice that.
Mhm.
Just as that co-pilot who wants to learn how to be a good pilot is going to be watching what you're doing and learning from you, in the same way, a millennial who wants to find joy, wants to find what true joy is about, he's going to notice. He might not say anything. He or she might not say anything. They might roll their eyes and all that goes.
Mhm.
But they'll be watching. And that's what we need to be doing, is first and foremost living our faith, regardless of what age. Regardless if 5 or 50 or 100.
Yep.
So, and not just saying, well, the young people need to do that.
I don't know. Did you guys follow that campaign that kind of just sprang up about why I'm Catholic or why I remain Catholic?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of those conversations are important to continue to have and to continue to to give a good example. I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
There's kind of a phrase in the church. They're not going to care about you until they know that you care about them. They're not going to care what you have to say, and until they know that you care about them. And I see that as a priest. I can sit up there and I can preach, and it's not going to do any good if they think, well, he doesn't care about any of us. And frankly, I know there are people in my parish that feel that way. It's not true, but they don't understand it. They don't see that. And that's a failing on my part if I'm not doing that. Because St. Paul says, I can preach with the tongue of angels, but if I have not love, it's like a clanging cymbal. I think is.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
It's the same thing with our lives. We have to show them first and foremost that we care about them, that we want them to have what's best in their life. We want them to have the joy that we found in Christ. And of course, when a lot of us walk around and we sound grumpy and everything's wrong, and we'll wonder why they're not interested.
Bring back the the Tridentine Mass.
Yeah.
And
Get off
there's-
my lawn.
But
exactly.
and I'm not saying, again, I hope people don't take me the wrong way. I love the beauty of the Tridentine Mass, the extraordinary form of the Mass. So I'm not saying anything against that. But I guess what we're trying to say is that those are just like, it's got to be the way it was back in the 50s, or it's not right.
Oh yeah, the people, the people who are always bitter about everything.
Yeah.
Vatican II ruined the church, and no. We can't be like that, and it's not attractive. I mean, I'm the same way. I love the Tridentine Mass. I learned how to celebrate it. I need to celebrate it more because it is such a beautiful Mass. But I can't stand the people who, everything's wrong, everything's bad. You do anything even the slightest bit off, and look at the reaction Father Roderick got with the Star Wars video.
Mm-hmm.
The heat that he got from that side of how he's a Vatican II priest, and this is leading the church to hell, and yeah,
or
that's
the
not attractive.
The complaints that were levied at him for just playing. This is a priest that's all he's doing is playing with Legos.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what's wrong with today's church.
Our priests play with Legos.
Yeah. And that's and that's the mindset that chases the millennials away.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to want to be a part of that, and I don't blame them.
No, I don't either. Chases
really
me away.
Yeah, exactly. But when you see people that they exude joy, they're just happy to be alive, happy to serve Christ. That's what's going to.
I don't like confrontation.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I'm thinking of every time I see the Pez dispensers? I think of that episode of Seinfeld, because everything in my whole world revolves around Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
But they were at a recital or a concert. George was dating a lady who was playing the piano, and Jerry's sitting next to Elaine, and he has this Pez dispenser, and just like right in the middle of this concert, he just takes the Pez dispenser and just sticks it on her leg. And she just starts laughing uncontrollably, and giggling and everything else, and enough that it just disrupted the entire concert, and it was just funny.
That's awesome.
Okay,
puts it on.
There we go.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's now time for moving on. Yeah. And I hope you guys have really good ones, because I still haven't come up
I
with
do.
one yet.
I do too.
Oh, I do. I want to
Good.
go. I want to go. I want to go because I'm going to do something today with that. So our friend, Jeff Young, has a book called Around the Table with the Catholic Foodie, Middle Eastern Cuisine.
Mhm.
And so oh my gosh, it's from his trip to the Holy Land. And he posted earlier, or maybe it was Lisa Hendy, our friend Lisa, posted a link to a baba ganoush recipe.
Ooh, yum.
I don't think
Oh
I've had that.
my
What is that?
goodness. It's like hummus,
Uh-huh.
but with eggplant.
Ooh.
Instead
that
of
sounds good.
chickpeas, you make it with eggplant,
good.
and so you roast the eggplant, and then that's what you do. You just take out the cooked, the mushy
Inside.
meat inside, and you make a delicious dip. And so I'm going to try that recipe today because
Ooh.
I just love it. But every time I look at it, I think of who is it? Is it the comedian who goes hummus, whatever. Anyway, it's whatever.
Oh yeah,
Crickets.
that one.
That one. Anyway, my pick of the week is Around the Table with the Catholic
Nice.
Foodie, Middle Eastern Cuisine.
Awesome.
And I saw that the link is already up with our Amazon Smile thing. So get it, and
Yeah.
I'll report back after I eat all the dip today.
I heard that
Good
we
stuff.
don't want to tell people to use Amazon Smile. We want them to use the
It's
just the
other
plain
one.
in link, because we get a lot more percentage that way. So
More money is good. Oh,
yeah, every
More
every
money,
penny
always
counts.
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can keep all
So
this
the link is
nonsense
up.
going.
I saw. But yeah, let's. Oh, I can't wait. I'll post pictures. It's gonna be so good.
So you're gonna make some of those recipes, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna make the baba ganoush today.
Okay. You'll have to let us know how that turns out. But you're such a good cook. You can make anything turn out.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Oh, thank you. Father Corey.
Well, I've got a couple books too, and Maria mentioned Lisa Hendy, who she writes one or two books. She's done a few. She knows how to write. It seems like she's constantly writing. I think she's writing more. Actually, I know she's writing more. Well, I had the privilege actually to be asked to endorse one of her new series. It's a series of kids books, middle, kind of upper elementary, not quite middle school, but I think ages 7 to 10 is what they've geared it towards. And it's called The Chime Travelers. Oh, trying to hold it here so it looks good. You can see it on if you're watching it.
Chime Travelers.
Chime Travelers. So the idea is they're kids who they somehow magically travel through time and meet these saints. So she's got two of them out so far. First one is The Secret of the Shamrock, where one of the boy and his frog go back to meet St. Patrick. And then the second one is The Sign of the Carved Cross, where the young girl goes back and meets St. Kateri Tekakwitha, the Native American saint. So they're kind of interesting books. They're kind of fun. Just the idea of just through this magical transportation, they end up back in time and meet these saints, and you kind of see and learn about the saints through their eyes. And Lisa's written it kind of again about age 7 to 10, but it's something I think adults can pick up too. It's got really neat art by an illustrator by the name of Jen Bauer, and I've added a link to her website as well in the show notes. Very neat art. It's cute books, very good. I was thrilled when Lisa asked me to endorse them, and you can go on on the Amazon site. Of course, we've got the Amazon link also in the show notes, and you can see my endorsement as well. So check those out. Very much worth doing. She's got 2 out, and I know she's writing a couple more. She's probably got about 5 or 6 written already. You know how Lisa is, constantly writing. So.
Awesome. Hey, my pick of the week, thank you, Father Corey. We'll have all that in the show notes. My pick of the week, since we talked about the Georgia Bulletin, the archdiocesan newspaper for the Atlanta Archdiocese, we'll put a link to that in the show notes if you want to check out the Georgia Bulletin. You don't have to be here in this parish and receive it in your mailbox. You can actually go to their website and read some of the articles there. So a plug for the Atlanta Archdiocese from me here at the StarQuest Production Network. And let's see, just a reminder, support Sarah and Maria by buying Sarah Vabulous's The Catholic Drinkie's Guide to Homebrewed Evangelism. We have some links to that in the show notes as well, and it'll help out Sarah and SQPN. Also, pre-order Maria's book, My Badass Book of Saints. We hadn't said it yet. My Badass Book of Saints, Courageous Women Who Showed Me How to Love. Again, on Amazon. Pre-order that book so that we can help support both StarQuest Production Network and Maria Johnson. And also, speaking of support, the 2 podcasts that Sarah has started, the Catholic Drinky podcast and the Catholic Hipster podcast, go over to iTunes, subscribe to the podcasts, and leave reviews, and that will really help kind of kickstart their popularity in the appropriate areas of iTunes, etc. So make sure you do that, and I have to do that myself, actually. One of those things on my to-do list. And finally, Father...
Thanks for all that love.
Yeah, you're welcome. Father Corey, frcorey.org. You can listen to those great homilies that Father Corey does each and every week.
Yep, you can listen to there, or you can find my my internet presence on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on. If you go to actually, I'm going to post it on Facebook. I had a project this week I had to do in my bathroom, but you can find that at frcorey.stica. Last name spelled Sticha.
A project in your bathroom?
I had to replace the floor.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, thank you. Maria Johnson, MariaMJohnson.com.
MariaMJohnson.com. I'm getting emails to Mariam now, which is maybe interesting. And
Yeah.
you can
That's what-
follow me. Follow me on Twitter at Bago. I'm on Facebook, and do go over to Pathos.com and check out my views on the embassy situation. I'm
Cuba.
the editor's choice in Cuba. Yeah, so I'm the editor's choice at Pathos.com this week. So go leave a comment. I'll answer.
Can't think of anybody better. All right. And I am Captain Jeff, airline pilot guy. And you can find me on Twitters and Facebook and the website airlinepilotguy.com. And sounds like the music is getting even louder in the background. That means that's my cue to wrap this thing up. Hope everybody has a great Catholic weekend. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And as always, take care and God bless.
SQPN, leading the way in Catholic new media.
Yay.
That's a wrap.
Another one
That's
done.
a wrap.
And I recorded to remember to push the record button. on
Oh,
my
that's
page
awesome.
5.
That's a good thing.
Yes, it is. And, not like I would ever not remember to push the record button. I don't know how many times I've done that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's still in highlighted yellow on the top of the show notes, right? Push
Yeah,
the
it is.
button.
The good thing is that when I used the H2, you had to push it twice. When you pushed it once, it only started flashing, which was not recording, and then you push it another time, then it was a steady red. That makes
That's
it
terrible.
So now this new recorder that I have, you just push it once and that's it. Just the
Yes,
light comes on and you're good to go.
It's done.
Yeah.
Hey, well, you guys, I gotta go do some stuff. I gotta
Okay.
do a
See
little
ya.
bit of clearing out around here. So
Yeah,
good
you're gonna have to
see you.
tell us next weekend how the Baba Ganoush turned out.
oh my gosh, I can't wait to do it.
Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds
Oh,
way
my
too
stomach is already kind of growling now just thinking about it.
Yum. See you guys later.
All right, take care, Marina.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. And I guess it's time for the two of us to say our goodbyes as well. Thank you, everybody in the chat room. Let's go over here and see if anybody is still there. Baba Ganoush.
Yeah.
Yep, you're hungry too, I see, Father Corey.
good.
Let's see.
Yep.
Yeah, again, Jan, good to see you. It was nice seeing you at the Georgia International Convention Center as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for hanging out. We kind of waited until Father was finished with his recording at the break this morning because I know that many of you like to listen to him for some reason record his show, which is always entertaining. I was listening to, actually. It was kind of a personal thing. I didn't want to start our show because I was still listening to him recording.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anywho, yep. There's Mike, about 25 seconds, right on cue after I said, is that anybody still there? Cliff is there as well. Okay, he's already saying his goodbye. All right. Ooh, going on vacation, Jan. Where are you headed?
Nice.
I hope it's someplace really far, far away in some exotic land.
Galaxy far, far away. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Ooh, Ireland. That's right. I just recalled now you were talking about going to Ireland. As many of our Irish priests here in Atlanta say, the Holy Land.
Yep.
All right. Well, anything else you want to say, Father, before we shut off the broadcast?
No. I hope everybody has a good week, and thanks again for joining us.
Bye-bye.